So it is actually October 3rd today. I cannot believe it. So we're gonna do this September book roundup today, and I have a stack of books here to show you everything that I read for the month of September. Hey friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Mandy, the Handmade Homeschooler. So this is the one bookish, like mom type book video that I do a month. So every month at the end of the month, I do a book roundup where I show you all the books that I read. Some of them are adult books, some of them are kid books, some of them are theology books, and some of them are just, totally random. I mean, there's some random things that I read. So I'm going to show you everything that I read. And actually, most of the books that I read this month are on Kindle because I still have my Kindle Unlimited subscription. This is my Kindle. And I pay about $13 or $14 a month for that. And it's like a lending library. And if a book is in the Kindle Unlimited subscription section, I don't have to pay to read it. My kids use this, I use this. We save so much money with Kindle Unlimited. I love it. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you, because I haven't actually read all of these yet because they just arrived, but I'm so excited about it because I am 3/4 of the way through the first book and I've been talking about it non-stop with my family. So YWAM Publishing sent me 5 of the Christian Heroes books. Now, if you're not familiar with this company, I have been reading their books for a very long time. They have missionary stories. They have stories about historical figures. I think we had like their Daniel Boone book once when we were doing Daniel Boone, like back in 2017, maybe 2016. I don't know. It was a long time ago. We have a collection of these at my house. So when they contacted me this week about sending me 5 of them and giving you guys an exclusive deal on them, I jumped. I was like, yes, absolutely, because I love these books. So here's the page with the deal if you are interested. This is the YWAM Publishing website, and this is a specific page just for my followers. You get a 5-pack of books here, the same ones that I have: Rachel Saint, C.S. Lewis, Richard Wurmbrand, Jim Elliott, and David Livingstone. And you get this for $5 instead of $59.95 plus shipping. You'll get it for $30 with free shipping. And if you add anything else to your order, then you will still get the free shipping deal. All the details are down here, and I'm going to put the website up on the screen for you, and it will be in the description box down below. Very simply, it's buymandymaltz.com/YWAM. And nobody gets free shipping on their site unless they spend at least $70. So this is a huge deal, especially the shipping, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but shipping, especially for books, because books are heavier, it's getting really expensive. Like I think I pay attention more to shipping rates than most people just because I used to have like a handmade store. So I know the shipping rates, I know the postal rates, and I saw another notice about it going up again recently. I was like, well, that's gonna put a dent in my wallet for when I order books. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. I tend to do that when I talk about books. But these are true stories. These are great reference books too, like the historical books. We use them as reference books. So like we had Daniel Boone. That was actually for my oldest to write a book report on Daniel Boone. And it was a Christian story. It was from a Christian company that I could trust, and I don't have to worry about the content. So you guys know me, I am like the content queen when it comes to what my kids are reading. So having a good publisher that I can trust with my kids is really important to me, and YWAM is that publisher. They are one of those great publishers that I really don't have to worry much about anything that's in their books. So I'm going to tell you about the ones that I have. Now first, if you want to get the deal on their books, all you have to do is go to the link down below in my description box, and that's it. So the books that I chose David Livingstone, Richard Wurmbrand, C.S. Lewis, Jim Elliot, sorry about the glare, guys, and Rachel Saint. Now, Rachel Saint is the first one that I picked up because I know Nate Saint's story. We studied it when we did My Father's World, and I really wanted to read Rachel's story. Rachel is Nate's older sister, and she was in the same area and worked a lot with her brother. So I am 3/4 of the way through. If you're following me on Goodreads and you've seen me pick this up, I'll have my Goodreads link down below in the description box as well. I know there's been some confusion about my link because my link changed. So I will get my link for that down below, and you can follow me as I read these stories. So I got these for both me and my kids, maybe a little bit more for me. But I love missionary stories, and I think it's really important to read stories of missionaries. And these are all true stories, and they are wonderful. And I have to say, if you read Rachel Saint, she was on a television show in 1956 or 1957, and it's called This Is Your Life. I highly recommend, they talk about it in here, I highly recommend you go on YouTube and find it. It's in a 2-part video series. I think each video is 15 minutes long. It'll say like part 1 and part 2. Go watch it and go see her, go like actually see the, go watch the actual television program she was on. It is amazing, and being able to see those people like come to life that you're reading about is really important. And if you read this with your kids, highly recommend it. And you can see what these people look like, you can see how they sounded, and it really just helps bring the story to life. Okay, let's talk about the other books that I read this month. I read a lot of Kindle books, I only have one actual book that I read. I'm gonna go on to my Goodreads because I keep track of my books that way. I finished up the Holly series from C.C. Warren's, and I read books 4 and 5. So those were the first 2 books that I read in the month, and I took my time through it. I really liked book 4. Book 5, oh man, I don't know why that was such a hard book for me to get through. Books 4 and 5 were a lot harder because I felt like the series really ended in book 3. Like, I feel like there was novellas in between, so it's not just 3 books. Like, it was like novellas in between from different people's perspectives and things, especially Mark's. I loved Mark's books, which is like her dad in the story. So books 4 and 5 were written after like the conclusion, like the happy ending had already happened, and now she's kind of like going out on her own. She is a victim of egregious abuse, and she's going out on her own and you know, trying to find out who she is and take those next steps in her life. I feel like they didn't really need to be written. I feel like, you know, Holly had her happy ending. Not that I want to spoil it for anybody, but I like books with happy endings. And I feel like Holly had her happy ending and Mark's had his happy ending, and I feel like these were just like afterthoughts, maybe just tying up loose ends. But like book 5 took this like weird turn into like this cult area where she was like kind of kidnapped and held for a while, and it was really strange. It almost felt like it didn't fit in with the rest of the books, but at the same time it was really interesting. I don't know, I like C.C. Warren's, I like her writing style, but it was nice to have a little bit of extra Holly. So books 4 and 5 were good. I liked them. So the next book I read, this is one of those random books that I was talking about. My whole house has been on like this new health kick because everybody has seen the changes in me from the way that I've been eating, and now we're trying to get rid of a lot of like the toxins and stuff in our home and in our food, and we've pretty much all switched over to mostly organic eating. I say mostly because there's just some things you can't find in organic that we need. While we've been doing that, and while I've been decluttering, and I feel like I've had like all these little house projects, I got this book, and it's called A Healthier Home: The Room by Room Guide to Make Any Space a Little Less Toxic. So this was one of those Kindle books. It was free. I didn't have to pay anything for it because it was on Kindle Unlimited, and there were lots of pictures, lots of really good guides to help me get started. So it was a really cool like how-to guide and the things to look at, you know, if you want to start making healthier choices and a lot less toxic choices for your family, with everything from laundry soap to carpeting. So a lot of things, I learned a lot in this book. I did. It was a really quick read. I think I read it in 2 days. Really, really quick read, quick book. And now I follow her on social media. And she's a Christian. I didn't find that out until I started researching her online, but she is a Christian. Okay, the next book I read, I'm going to show you this one. I read this one all throughout the month. This one is Pleasing God by R.C. Sproul. This is this is like his signature series that I got. This is 3 different books in one, and this is volume 5. If you can see the V right there. This is a volume series that my husband gifted me. And Pleasing God is only 150 pages or so. So it's only like a third of this whole book. And Pleasing God is about sanctification. So this was one of those theology type books, really, really good. I read about a chapter a day. The chapters are only like 5 or 6 pages. And it was one of those things that I read like alongside my Bible and like my Table Talk magazine type of thing. So almost like a devotional. And it's really about taking you through the steps of sanctification. This is good for anybody who is new to Christianity or somebody who, like me, who's been a Christian for most of their life. You will find something that you will learn in this. Highly recommend it. I think it was written in the 80s, but it's, you know, it's a theology book. It still stands today. The next book was another Kindle book, and this one was a historical biblical fiction book. So this one is called A Light on the Hill, The Cities of Refuge #1. So this was a series book. So I went into it thinking, okay, there's like 3 books in this series. I'm gonna get like 3 books out of it. I was really excited because it starts off with a bang with our main character, Mariah, and she is an exile from Jericho because she was with Rahab. Again, it's biblical fiction, just go with it. There's nothing in there that's wrong that I found biblically. Actually, it seems like the author did her research, and it was one of those things that you can tell there's not anything in there that would conflict with scripture. So it seems like it would be okay. So they're refugees, like the only refugees from the fall of Jericho, along with Rahab. And she was with her when it all happened, so she was saved because she was part of Rahab's family. So she is badly scarred, and she goes throughout her life like this. She doesn't have a suitor. Her husband finds her one, and then tragedy strikes. So this man that she is now betrothed to, she accidentally poisons his 2 twin sons, and they die. And he is out to seek vengeance. And it was totally an accident. She didn't mean to do it. It was horrible. And now she is on the run with a man that she actually really does love. And they're trying to get to a city of refuge. If you are familiar with the Old Testament, there are cities where people who are manslayers can run to, and they can get a trial, and they will be safe there. They will be safe from harm. So the whole book is about her and this man running from her betrothed and trying to get a fair trial and explain what actually happened before he can catch up with her and seek out his own vengeance. So the book ends, and I loved it. I was so excited, and I'm like, okay, I need book 2. I need book 2. And I go and I look at book 2 and book 2 and book 3, and I think the 4th book, if there is a 4th book, were not even about her. She got her ending, and I was so sad. It does not end on a cliffhanger, okay? Like it was a standalone book, but these are totally different stories about totally different people, and I was so bummed. Book number 2 has to deal with somebody else within her story, but it's not really about her. And I was like, well, that stinks. So I did not get book number 2 or number 3 or anything, but I may in the future because this author was a really good writer, so we'll see. Okay, the last book I read was actually a audiobook from my Canon Plus subscription, and it's called Hard Sayings, Understanding Difficult Passages of Scripture, another one by R.C. Sproul. Wow, that was a good book. I listened to it while I was cooking dinner all this month, and that was so good. If you have a difficult time with some passages in scripture, things that you might not understand, things that may seem like they're difficult in general, pick up that book. It is so good. I was really impressed with it. So he goes from the Old Testament through the New Testament, and he just goes in chronological order, everything from the creation of the world to certain passages in Revelation. Really, really, really good stuff. And he tries to come at it objectively, but true to scripture. So in some passages, he'll tell you what he thinks, if, you know, the meaning can be taken a couple different ways, or he'll tell you, no, this is actually what this means, if there is a hard line, definite answer to it. Really enjoyed it. R.C. Sproul is my favorite theologian. I trust him in his writing, and he has greatly helped me in my walk with Christ and understanding scripture and understanding the Bible and, you know, certain things about life. R.C. Sproul is it. You guys know I love anything that he writes, and I'm on a mission to try to read all of his books. That man wrote a lot of books. I'm just going to tell you, that man wrote a lot of books. And some of them are on Canon, so I can listen for free, which is great. So that's what I've been doing. And I tend to listen to something while I'm cooking at how, I don't know, it's like my book listening time. I either listen to that or Generations Radio every day. So really enjoyed that. I know that my husband enjoyed listening to it with me. We listened to the chapter on the Nephilim together. That was really interesting because we're also studying Genesis as a family during family worship. So that was a cool like cross thing that happened there. So yeah, really enjoyed it. And that is all I read for the month. I have a couple books that I haven't finished yet that you will see in October's roundup. And I don't know what else I'm going to read. I know I'm going to probably read some of these YWAM books. And I don't know what else. I haven't decided yet. There's so many books that I have. I have some new books from Generations on my shelf. I have some new Christian literature. I have new missionary stories. I have books everywhere. So many, many choices to make this month. So we'll just have to wait until another 4 weeks or so, and you'll see my next reading roundup to see what I chose. So let me know down in the comments, what are you reading? I'd love to have some recommendations if you have recently read a really good book. And I will see you guys next time. I hope you have a great rest of your day and happy homeschooling.